our,
Ooh.
yes, our phenomenal artist, Maya Perez is in the building, you guys. Okay, she is a visual artist, which she works primarily with acrylics and stuff like that, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I'm gonna give it to her. First question: introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. Where you're located, all that stuff.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Maya Perez. Y'all hear me right? They can hear me. Yes.
I think you kind of like
Can you
going
hear
in and
me?
out a little bit. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Okay. Okay. I am from Oklahoma City, and I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous. So, what else I'm supposed to say?
Don't be nervous.
Okay.
Just okay. Just think about it. Like, okay, we're talking to some friends and we're just politicking. Like, pretend it's just me and you just having a conversation about like who you are as a person. You could talk about kind of like your art, touch on that a little bit, stuff like that. Like, I mean, tell us your name, your location, the type of art that you do.
Okay. All right. Let's start with my name again. Of course, my name is Maya, and Creative Illusion is the name that I go by on social media. That is because if you look up the history of my name or something's supposed to mean that. And so I like that a lot. This is so rare. Somebody is knocking at my door. I'm
Uh,
busy. This is so rare. My,
you already know Murphy's Law. People always want to come and have a conversation when you
this
busy doing something.
I swear, this is like nobody's knocked on my door all of September, and we in October
Oh,
now. So like the shirt that I have on is has like natural hair woman, and so a lot of the art that I do is uplifting because that is me, that's my character. So I do a lot of painting that reflect women of color. Growing up, I never saw, of course, women that art was something that I would be able to do, but I also come from a family full of artists, so that's one thing. Um, and so I put this on. It says dream, imagine, believe. That you can see those type of themes throughout the things that I paint. So what about that?
right, right. And that's so true. Like a lot of times, oh, do me a favor. Put your Can you like come closer to the camera? Cause you seem like you like kind of far away a little bit. Oh yeah. So we can see you. Push your camera down a little bit towards
Um,
you.
we're not gonna touch the camera because it's gonna fall on the floor.
Okay. All right. So let's leave it. Let's leave it there. But
Yes.
what was I gonna say? Yeah, you don't really see that, right? You don't see that in like the mainstream. So I guess that's what you thinking about. Like you don't really see that in the mainstream when you're dealing with like art, especially fine art. You don't really see too much reflections of us. Like even when we go to like if I go to the museum, I don't see any reflections of me. If we do see reflections of us in fine art or portraiture or whatever it is, right? Most of the time you see reflections of us being subservient, like we're, plowing the field and, mending somebody's dress or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We,
It really
we,
doesn't define us as like women in 2019. It's like that's not the type of woman that represents me nor you, right? Like
right,
that's what I'm thinking. It's kind of antiquated. We're past that
exactly.
now. Let's give us some more empowering things to see.
Exactly. Exactly. Like it's like so I think that's why a lot of us and that was another reason kind of why I wanted to start the podcast, start the whole Facebook live interviews and stuff like that because I cultivated such a diverse group of beautiful African American women and artists that our stories are not out there. You don't see people like us on podcasts or on the mainstream. When people do interviews or they do anything that has to do with looking at us in a positive way, you don't see that. You know what I'm saying? You don't see us reflected in this manner. And I'm sure everybody has really seen our art all over. Like, I mean, you see it every day in social media. You see black images and illustrations and portraits, abstract art, whatever it is, right? You see this stuff reflected in the mainstream, but you don't really know the story behind the artist, the struggles, what it's like to be African American artist, because it's a whole different other experience to be us. You know what
Definitely.
I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So if I'm looking down, I'm actually sharing out the stuff at the same time as we're talking. So you could just keep it rolling if you want to keep it rolling.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see the comments or not, but people are talking. Hey guys, I see you, but
I
we're gonna
can't
get to you.
read you, but
Oh, we're gonna get to you guys' questions at the end of the live. Okay, so next question. So how did you get into art? What Tell us about your art journey. Dig us in, take us way, way back to the beginning. We want to know everything, girl.
okay, so I put some thought into this answer, and I couldn't really. I was like, so anyway, here we go. I think that my story, when we start to think about life, we want to go like in one direction, and my art journey has gone in a like a circle like this. And so it's like it started when I was younger, and then it disappeared, as I grew older. I think some of the things that I want to talk about is art programs not being in school. My mom always wanted me to take art, and I never could because we didn't have a art teacher or a class, or at that time they didn't have it available. And so um, that was really sad for me. And so I lost a lot of touch with art. And then I want to say, I had my children very young. I had my first son when I was 17. And so then I can't say it, about 15 years ago, I was going through something, a loss of a loss. And the doctor was like, well, is there anything that you like, anything that, you can do that you're good at? Think back to when you were a kid. And I thought back that it all started with art. My mom loved to draw, and we used to paint together I used to paint with my mom, and those were like really special moments. And so then I started painting in my house, and I realized that my son, who was about maybe kindergarten, first grade around the time, he started coming he would put down his video games. I guess he was old enough to play video games, to come in and paint with me. So that got to be our
Okay.
bonding time, and I was like, this is something that I'm going to do, because they say children learn what they see, they do what they see, not what you tell them to do. And so I wanted him to continue to follow his love and passion for art. So I decided to continue to follow my love and passion for art.
Right, right, right. That is phenomenal. Okay, you guys. Like a lot of times I too had children young, right? And a lot of people don't know that, but I had my child at 17 as well. And when you have a child that young, you get it from all sides. You get it from your family, the community, whatever. People like, oh, your life is done. I'm not saying, and in no way, shape, and form, you guys, am I advocating being a teen mom? Like, hello, like, hello,
No,
and you know what I'm saying? So
that's not what you want.
don't be sending me no hate mail. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm talking about, okay? So back to my story, right? What I'm saying is, if you do happen to get yourself in that situation where you have children young, your life is not over. If you continue to push and you still have goals, you can still accomplish those goals. You have still a whole lifetime to do whatever you need to do. It's just going to take you a little longer because now you have another person there that you have to necessarily worry about. And with me having my child at 17 or whatever, Like, it was hard. It's hard. And I'm sure it was hard for you because you were just a child yourself. You really don't know about life, and you feel like your opportunities are going. It's very draining because you spending so much time kind of still trying to figure out where you are as a person, and then still trying to instill as much as you can into that human being that you brung into this world. So it's like, how do you really have time to kind of put into the art and focus on that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of rambled on it, but it's like life is not over. It's many things, many opportunities. I mean, I know people who never had kids young, but they do a whole career shift later on in life and end up, doing
Hmm.
art and stuff like that. So yeah, I really identify with that. I knew we was like, I knew we had a spirit going. You know what I'm saying? I never knew. I don't think you ever told me about that part though. But yeah.
My son, no, probably not.
I mean, you told me
You
about your
know.
son, but I don't remember you telling me you had him at 17 and stuff like that. So see,
Oh, okay.
you learn all sorts of good things, you guys.
Yeah, just
So go ahead.
sipping the tea.
Y'all
You
learning
know.
all the tea today, okay?
But
So
I wanted to say something more about what you had said because when I went to school, that I went to dedicate my major. They said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I want to be a teacher." They said, "What do you want to teach?" I said, "Art." That's the first thing that popped in my head because I never had a chance to study art. And then the counselor told me, "No, no, 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 no. You don't want to do that. They never have art teachers. They never have art programs. You'll never get a job." And because I was a mother at the time, I had to do the responsible decision in my mind, which I chose one of the four major subjects, and I teach English to the Spanish speaking kids.
you teach like ESL?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah. We all know about the ESL classes. Okay, we all had one in our school, the ESL
Okay.
classes. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that either. I mean, at the same time, you can still pursue your passion, which you do when you're not working and da da da. And I mean, that happens to a lot of people. Some people never get to really fully visualize their purpose in life and why they've been put here. You know what I'm saying?
Most
And
definitely.
yeah, so for us to know what our purpose is, whether later on in life, at the beginning of life, or whatever season you are in life, that's a blessing from God because a lot of people never realize that. A lot of people go through life and they do whatever their family, whatever the universe, society, whatever wants you to do, and then you end up, unhappy and just a little worker bee. You work, come home, work, come home, whatever. I see so many miserable ass people on my timeline.
Boo.
Woo!
No, no, no. No, that's not, but I think that might be like the artist in me because don't they say like art, I don't know, I might be making this up, but they say like artists have like a little bit of rebellion in them, a rebellious spirit because we're trying to do something and that's how I live, like you want me to go to work and be like sad. No, I'm gonna go on vacation. I'm get out of here. I'm gonna paint something. I do. I try to intentionally do something because I'm like, you're not gonna steal my joy. I got to keep that because I got to have something to keep me going. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that's what people don't understand that I mean, I did a whole sequence on YouTube, well, not a whole sequence, but it's kind of hard for me even though I'm like always outgoing and talking to people. You guys don't know everything about me. You don't know my whole story. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like it was a part of my story that I could share that would probably be motivating to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole sequence that I did on YouTube where I talked about how art saved my life. And I talked about in the first 25 to 35 to 30 years, because I'm going to be 40 next year, you guys. Your girl's getting up there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to be 40 next year. And During the almost it I didn't find out what I really wanted to do with my life or what my purpose was until I was 35 years old, you know? So it was like art is something that's very important. It saves lives. It is a universal language. It is something that everybody in the universe can definitely identify with and understand. And people get such joy from it. I mean, an image can change your whole life. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever experienced like a piece of art and you look at it, or maybe some music, and it just changed your whole feeling, your whole world? And it's such a joyful experience because, and but a lot of people again, but this is our purpose that we found, right? We found this purpose, we found this God-given gift or whatever talent, whatever it is. We tell stories through visuals, right? But a lot of people, like I said, on the timeline, they haven't found that purpose yet. So when you are not living a purposeful life, you start to feel like, okay, you feel lost. Because prior to me finding art, I was feeling lost. I was always unhappy. I was always sad. I was always angry, you know, arguing a lot, fighting a lot with my family members, you know, unhappy in the jobs that I was doing, not really knowing where I was supposed to be, you know what I mean? And then like boom, I found it. And you know, and it was like the most fun things, or the most things, like how you was introduced through art, through something traumatic that happened to you, and somebody said, oh, go ahead and, you know, create something because art is therapy. And then you was like, oh, this is, it opened your eyes up to a whole new world of lovely, you know what I'm saying?
It was definitely helped me through a lot of times because as a single mom, I had to think of a hobby I could do from the comfort of my own home, you know. And so painting was one of it, and it kind of started giving me a reason to be excited again because so I would get excited when I started to create something. So I'm working, and when I can't wait to get off work so I can go home and finish the project that I'm working on. And so give you something to look forward to when there is nothing that you really have in life, then you can make something and put it in your life.
Exactly, exactly. I know. I was talking to somebody, and I'm not gonna put their whole thing out there, but they were saying that they was depressed and stuff like that, and they battle with, you know, severe depression, you know, possibly like manic depression or bipolar and stuff like that. And I was like, well, you know, I basically suggested, well, why don't you do something like a hobby or find some other purpose in your life, because I think that will give you something to look forward to besides the everyday, you know, work, go home, work, go home. Because at the end of the day, you're working just to have a paycheck so you can feed your family. It's not something that's your purpose. It's not something why you was brought to fruition, why God put you on earth. But you know what I'm saying? Like, amen, I'm about to get philosophical on, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like this is a calling, this is a purpose. This is not it's not that because it's a lot of money that we make in this business, because most of us don't make a lot of money. Believe that. It
Right.
looks glamorous, but a lot of us are not making a lot of money. But it's a purpose, it's a calling, it's something that we've gone into because we feel like we are a storyteller. It's something that is inside of us that we feel like we need to get out and show you guys in the world, to make everybody, you know, a much more happier and peaceful world, because that's what art does.
That's
So
most
let's
definitely, I agree.
right. So let's go into our next question. Who inspires you? What is your favorite? Who's your favorite artist? Who's popping right now that you're loving, living or past?
You know, I thought about that question too. And to be honest, my name is Maya, and I was always inspired by Maya Angelou. And so this whole thing a lot of you might see her themes in the things that I'm doing. So I think that I'm inspired by her. Like I have a painting and the girl is like floating over the city. She's like floating over the, boop, and rising above it. It's like still I rise, And so I think I get a lot of my inspiration from positive quotes, um, as per se, and as for artists, um, I think it's more of the person. Like I love seeing other black women like you, that are out here doing it, and they have purpose, and I may not be the best, but guess what? Doesn't matter. I'm going to continue to do me, at the pace that I need to go in, and having the courage to just stand in your own truth. So whenever I'm inspired by other black women that get on there and every day, day after day, and try to make something out of their life, you know?
Amen. Amen, sister. I mean, you preaching to the choir because I love Maya Angelou. I mean, she's born a day after me, which is absolutely insane. Well, I'm born a day before her. Let's say that because
Okay.
may she rest in paradise. And she's one of my favorite poets. And the crazy thing, I actually researched her life, and
Mm-hmm.
she spent most of her life, struggling through the civil rights movement, trying to find her way, trying to find what her purpose was. She actually did a multitude of things. I mean, singing, dancing, a lot of things throughout her life before she actually landed on poetry and said, you know what? This is my calling. Boom, I hit it. I hit my stride. This is where I need to be. You know what I'm saying? And so she inspires me as well because I kind of identify with that story, going through life, struggling, trying to figure out where I want to be and who I'm supposed to be. I mean, if you talk to people that know me, because I have a few people on my page that know me for 10, 15 years, 20 years or whatever, and they'll tell you, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still spunky. I'm still like, I'll give you the business. But now that I have found my purpose, I'm so much at calm and peace. And my spirit is rested at this point. I know what my purpose is, and it's to teach people, be an inspiration for people, and to help my people get where they need to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because like when I was younger, I think like her her words like phenomenal woman and still I rise, those were like the most empowering things to hear, as a child. Like who else is out there saying that those type of things that you get to, it wasn't like the internet and you could hear it every day.
Right. Right. That's true. Because now everybody's what? Everybody's a motivational.
A life coach.
Yes, everybody's a life coach. Oh, I'm a life coach. Get your life. Me, you know what? I'm gonna do a little segue. Okay, I got a little something story to tell you guys. There was recently in the news where this lady, she was like, she's an Asian lady and she's over there in China. I could say Chinese lady because she lives in China, right? So there was a Chinese lady
Yeah.
and she, we gotta be politically correct up on this show,
Yeah.
okay? So anyway, yeah, she's a Chinese lady and she lives over there, but she's like a YouTuber slash guru, whatever she is, right? And she was giving women inspiration, showing them how to dress, fashionista, da 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 da. Got the whole cameras. You know how the fashionistas they supposed to be, whatever, whatever. Meanwhile, her landlord, she was having a dispute with her landlord, right? So the landlord went into her apartment while she was out of town and took pictures of this girl's house, and it was filthy. I mean, garbage all over the place, pies, pies on the floor. I mean, it was a garbage can, you guys. So you better watch who your inspirations are. Everybody is not all you need these days is a camera and whatever, and all of a sudden you a social media guru.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm just so feeling embarrassed for her. That's nasty.
Yes, yes, and it was so embarrassing because the um the landlord broadcast it all over YouTube, and
Blasted.
she had like 1 million followers. She had like 1 million followers. It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so on to our next question because we kind of got sidetracked. You guys. Okay, so I know you're a teacher. Like you do that by day, but what's your daily routine? Like, take us through your daily routine, incorporating the art into it.
Oh, okay. So I go to work. Let me see how I can say that, my daily routine.
Um,
Um, because I thought you was gonna say like my art routine,
get out
even
of
though
here.
it said
Go.
daily.
I'm sorry. This boy. This is what I'm saying. This is called mompreneur. Mompreneur. Go, go. I'm not playing with you. Good Lord.
I know. Bless his heart.
Listen. Yes, I'm telling you. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening to you.
Usually, like on the weekends is when I'll start something new. I feel fresh and decide that I'm going to start something new. And I work in steps. I'm kind of OCD on that a little bit, but I work in these steps. And so I have an agenda and I'll write down what step I should be on. So whenever I get off work, this is the step that I'm doing. I don't have to feel overwhelmed with having to just work until I feel like I put more time and care into it when I say that this is all that I'm going to do. So I have that divided up, and by the time Friday hits or Thursday, I should be finished with it. That's when I have something to paint. And then I'll be ready to start all over again on the weekend.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, for those of us that have you know, you being a mom, plus you may be working full time or maybe working part time, whatever it is, you're not doing the art thing full time. You
Okay.
gotta find a way to schedule. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. And I left out cooking dinner for everybody and cleaning up the house.
uh,
So, but that gets done too.
exactly. I mean, that's a given at this point, though. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, that's definitely a given.
So
So go ahead. I'm
I was gonna
listening.
say, so I'll probably start whatever it is that I'm doing before I start cooking, and then like whatever, letting it dry, and then go back after I finish cooking. Just to
Right,
let
right.
everybody know how I'm balancing that out.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, I mean that's what you have to do. Sometimes I may do a tutorial like I'll stop in the middle of filming a tutorial, go upstairs, give the boy a bath, give the boob a bath, call my daughter in New York, maybe cook, you know what I'm saying, do whatever I gotta do. But I'm like rushing, 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 or washing clothes or whatever you gotta do, and then boom. But a lot of that stuff I kind of try to schedule out. Like I'll have like one of them like dry erase boards, and I'll kind of try to schedule out and stuff like that.
Yes.
That really comes in handy. I mean, that comes in handy for people who don't have children. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's go on to our next question, you guys. Are you with a gallery or have you ever been with a gallery? Like, why or why
No, I have never been with a gallery. I
not?
at this point I feel as though, and there was another question about did I go to art school? I didn't, but I'm in school right now every day. I'm in the school of life, and so I don't. I'm feeling like I'm still in the process of learning, so I haven't even ventured out that far for galleries. I haven't.
Right, right. I mean, do you feel like you want to be into a gallery? Like, what is your like? Okay, let's say what is your 5 year goal as far as your art career goes?
As far as my art career, what I would like to see is to continue to find my voice, because that's why I haven't started to think about being in a gallery, because I feel as though even though art you're always developing, I feel as though I am, like whenever I finish something, I'm like, okay, but I feel like I can do something better. I don't know, maybe I'm striving for something endless, but I don't feel as though I would want to be in a gallery yet. I don't think I have something that I want to be on display for the whole world like that. I don't know.
Right. 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 Exactly. I mean, now as far as I'm concerned, I don't know if I want to necessarily be in a gallery. I feel like, unless it's like, like the National Portrait Gallery or something really fancy, then I would say, I really don't have an issue with that. But as far as like is my goal to be in a gallery right now, nah. And it's a lot of predatory people out there, you guys. So for those of you that's out there that's thinking about getting into a gallery, that you thinking about getting into those what you call it, you got to really think about who you getting in bed with, because like I say all the time, every opportunity is not a good opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
That's definitely how I feel because I have been, I've been around a couple of times. So I'm mostly into my art to give me a feeling of peace. And I think that I'm probably hesitant about galleries because of pressure. And I don't want to feel as though I'm under pressure to create. I want to create when I feel, it makes me happy and not because I'm supposed to do it this way or that way. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
I think I
And a
like my
lot of time,
freedom.
right, because I was listening to a podcast where people was talking about there's different types of galleries. There's like vanity galleries and commercial galleries and stuff like that. So depending on the type of gallery that you get into, number one, they're gonna take a big commission, you guys. Like they're gonna take at least 30 to 50% of whatever you make, right? And depending on the gallery, they may not even like advertise your work, you know. So it's like, why am I giving you 50% for something that you're not even advertising? You don't have the clout, you don't have the collectors on deck, you don't have any of those things. So why am I actually giving you my work, and why would I even consider even giving you 30%, 40%, whatever it is? Because some of them, if even if you don't sell something, they'll say, oh, you got to give me 50% of whatever. Like if I have your stuff in
Renting
my
the space.
gallery.
Yeah. Like you rented that
Right.
wall or something like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
I want to be able to be like recognized with my name and not as being have to be associated with something as a gallery. I want to be able to, some people, don't need galleries. They're very successful without one.
Oh yeah, I mean these days you don't necessarily need a gallery with social media and just being out there. If you really grind it out, uh, you can organically build the audience and not have to even go that route these days. Those are not necessarily the gatekeepers to your life anymore. I mean, back
Mm-hmm.
in the day, in the 1800s, those galleries were the gatekeepers. If you wasn't getting in good with the gallery, and especially like African American artists, we definitely wasn't in there. You know what I'm saying? Like in the 1800s, we was picking cotton. We wasn't even thinking about no art. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, none of that was going on. So let's ask our next question. Okay, is your family supportive of your art?
Um, I think, I think they think they do. They try. I think they try. Yes.
Don't give us the PG version. We need to know all the tea. Get download us. Are they supportive?
It depends on your, definition of support. They're not unsupportive, they're not like, why are you still painting? That's dumb. But also I think because like it's because they know me and everything, I'm not special to them. So me
Right.
creating something, it's like, oh, she's always creating stuff. You know, my people whose mothers can sing, do they really be like, oh, my mother can, listen to her sing every time? I don't know. So I think that that's what it is because, and a lot of times I know that I paint and I continue to paint is because my family will say, "Oh yeah, I remember I used to could do stuff like that." And I'm like, you can still do stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's
Right.
why I'm doing it, because they might, I've heard that comment before. Oh yeah, I used to do stuff like that all the time. But they say, oh, you're getting better or whatever. So that's about as far as it's gonna go with my family.
Okay, so we'll talk about my family a little bit, okay? Well, my family's mad supportive. I mean, they're always like, my mom, she feels like she's my manager because when we go to the store, she's like telling everybody like I'm Picasso. She's like, "Oh, did you see? You know what? Show the work. Show the work. Pull out your phone, Danielle. Come on, scroll through. Did you see her on Instagram? You know she got a podcast
Mhm.
now."
I know. I feel you, because that was my daddy. He's passed away now, but I know that feeling because
Oh
he was like,
no.
and I would be thinking, Daddy, stop, Daddy, because he
Yes,
would be
my
like, yeah, she doing this, she doing that. And I'm like, Daddy, that was between us.
exactly. Oh no. Oh no. My condolences to you and your family. How long has he been gone? Has he passed now?
It's been since 2014. Since 2014.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. But yeah, I mean it's my heart goes out to you because you need that support system. Sometimes you need a cheerleader. You need somebody that's gonna root you on and be like, yeah, I mean, but of course, she doesn't understand the full process of art. So, like, you know how art goes through stages, right? So you have like the ugly stage or whatever, and she'll come by and then be like, "Oh my god, why does her eye look like that? Or what's going on with her face? Or what's happening with this picture? This picture is ugly."
This is my mom when she walked past. Mama, are you gonna leave it like that? I'm like, how do you think I was gonna leave it like this? Like this, I'm just starting, and you talking about you gonna leave it like that? What's that supposed to be? Like, you know how you might,
Exactly.
I might clean my brush off on the side. Like, say I'm gonna paint her hair, and I got some extra red on my brush. I might just paint it right there on the side because I'm gonna paint over that anyway. What's
Right.
that red spot? You know.
Oh my God. You know how black families are. They just be like, that looks hideous. You can't be putting that up there. That's mad ugly. I mean, she'll be out with it like, oh, that's real hideous. I hate that. That's real ugly. I don't know what you're gonna do. Like the picture I had behind me up here on the wall, she swore to God that thing was hideous until I did it, until I finished it. Then she was like, "Oh my God, that looks so gorgeous."
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes.
was like, I was like, no, I don't need your compliments now, Mom. I'm good. Thank you very much. Because that hurt my feelings. That you said my art was ugly. It hurt me.
I
Okay?
most definitely hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt because she she used to do stuff like, because she's an artist, and I would draw when I was younger. And when I came home from school, she read and finished my drawing. And
What?
I'm like, how,
Oh
how
my
you finished my
God.
drawing?
That's like, that's like the ultimate disrespect. They be like, you're canceled. You're canceled, Mom. You're canceled. You're out of here.
Yeah, and she said she thought she was helping me, and I was like, well, that's not helping me. So
It's exactly. That's not helping me. That's helping you out.
that's not even
Yeah.
my drawing anymore. I can't even sign my name next to it.
Exactly. Exactly. So we know now. You guys there at home know what not to do to a creative. Don't touch our work. Don't be commenting whilst in the ugly stage. Keep it moving, and then put your comments on it afterwards. Okay.
Just be encouraging. I work with kids,
Exactly.
and And I encourage them all day long, even though it may not be anything. I'm like, but hey, you did it. Keep trying. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to put anybody.
Exactly. Because everybody's it just, even if you in a family full of artists, everybody's gonna have their own path and their own art and their own way of doing things. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. My son is
So,
an artist. He does more realistic things. He does only realistic things. Like, and he can't draw anything from his imagination. He has to look at a picture. So we have
mm,
different styles, and he likes to try to make me be like more like him, and I'm like, but that take that take all the fun out of it, measuring.
right.
He's a boy, so he's real technical.
Oh God, I swear I probably should have been a man because I things have to be a certain, like, if I mean I can draw from imagination, and basically it's things because I've already learned kind of like the basics of anatomy and the structure and stuff like that, so I can draw from imagination, but it stresses me out when I don't have a plan or a structure. So it does, and so it's not fun to me.
And
To
then,
me,
and
I'm
that's
like,
I'm the exact opposite. When it's too structured, I'm like, oh, that's boring now. Like I actually enjoy the like I just do it off the spontaneous top of my head most of the time. And I like it like that because what happens when I have a plan is that I stay fixed on this plan and I feel too rigid and I try to force it instead of going with the flow.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, so just because you every artist has their own way of doing things, their own techniques, and no
Exactly.
one way is the wrong way. It's whatever is comfortable for you and your process. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
Hmm. So, okay, so how would you define like your art style?
Oh, okay. So we just said it's not real structured
Oh
because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I use lots of bright colors. So it is going to be bright, vivid. I would say my style is more whimsical and like fantasy type.
Right. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so if I look at, do you have any pieces on hand you can show people, or be more descriptive?
Oh yeah, hold on. Let's see.
Woo, doing all this talking, my throat is dry.
So this is something that my mom was like, "What was that?" And I actually like it. And so
Yes.
this is very whimsical. This is very free. Put on some music and just feel like you dancing with the brush. Uh,
Right, right, right.
right.
That's
So
when you really just flow free. Let the breath, like, kind of intuitive. I think that I heard you say that before. You're like an intuitive painter
right.
type of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, because when I look at some of your art, I know you like what do they call mermaids? I see a lot of mermaids in your paintings. I see that theme going throughout a lot of your work. So what is the signal? What does the mermaid signify for you?
I think that a lot of times that has to do with me uh as like wanting to put forth something real positive. I grew up, I felt like it was beat out of me. Like, don't be creative. Don't try to do anything different. You're going to go to work. You're going to get a job. You're going to take care of them kids. Stop laughing. Life ain't funny.
Oh my God! Like, stop talking, stop breathing. You know what I'm
Don't
saying?
nobody
Just
care
go to
about
work.
that. Yeah, nobody care about
Exactly.
that. And so that is where you will see. Give yourself permission to dream and imagine things. It don't have to be real. Have fun with it. And I think that the mermaids offer that type of, route to me. I think, well, we all know that they're not real, okay? But that doesn't mean that that is something wrong with painting a mermaid. If you want to paint mermaids, paint mermaids.
I mean, they gorgeous as far as I'm concerned. I like mermaids. I tried to attempt to paint a mermaid one time. And it didn't go good. So we're not even gonna talk about that. But I tried to paint a mermaid. But I don't think my heart was in it. The mermaid signifies something flowy, something free, um, something like whimsical, something unattainable. So I think that's why a lot of people like it. They're drawn to the spirit of that free thing in the water, flowing, unattainable. You know?
Definitely. I have like that's the Maya Angelou. I know like by the cage bird stings, and so you want to be free. And that's something another one of the themes that you will see throughout. And you just kind of made that connection for me that it goes with the freedom and flowing free. Also, I think maybe because I'm a Scorpio and I'm a water sign. And so
Yeah,
we got the little mystery going too, like the little mysteriousness. So
I know,
there
I
you go.
know. There you go. Water baby, y'all like a lot of
Water
things that have,
sign.
yes, the water signs. Um, okay, so let's segue into our next question, you guys, which would be do you feel pressured to do popular art? That's my number one favorite question. Do you feel the pressure? Are you feeling the pressure from social media, society, family, whoever? Do you feel pressure to do popular art?
I would say that I felt a huge amount of pressure and that I have freed myself from it because I don't anymore. I used to when I first started out wanting to be an artist. Of course, you have to prove yourself as an artist. I didn't go to school to be an artist, so I start reading all kinds of research and what to do and if you have an art business, how to market yourself and what you're supposed to be doing to market and you should be doing this, you should be doing that, and it was more business than art and my I didn't have I felt a lot of pressure. And now I have decided to go back to my roots and just go back to why did I start this in the very beginning, you know, and start from there and build a solid foundation based off of who I am and not about what I think I'm supposed to be or who I think I'm supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, exactly. I agree. I mean, lately, I mean, there's so much competition. First of all, there's a lot of competition out there in the art industry, period. Much less in, I would say, in the African, Black, dope, African American art industry where it's so many dope artists out here, so many people that's doing their thing. There's so many people that are I mean, I seen something the other day where it was a guy. He was doing like political art, and he was like, I would call him like a political artist. I haven't talked to him directly. I don't know if he's a political artist or not. Maybe he creates other things, but he's a political artist where he focuses a lot of his art on what's happening in the day, today, like popular culture, like people that may have been slain and stuff like that, or whatever's happening in the world, right? And I started to feel like, and so many people was loving it. They was like loving the paintings, loving what was going on. And I started to get inside of my head, and then the little hamster started to roll around. And the hamster started flowing around like, Danielle, you're no good. See, look at that, look at that. All the people that love the little, the doubt hamster started rolling around and start saying, "Oh, nah, you ain't no good. Look at that. You creating these whimsical things. You need to be doing political art." Da 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 da. So I started to get inside my head, like I should be creating political art because I mean, most people that really know that there's another side of me that is very deep roots into the community, into civil rights and fighting for our people, you know, fighting against corruption. I've joined a lot of different community groups, especially when I was in New York. And that is another part of me that is deep rooted in me. So I started to really think about that, like, should I be a political artist? Da 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 da. But then I started thinking about it like, no, Danielle, that's not why, you know, that's not really why you became an artist. Yes, his art was dope. Yes, I felt pressure for the moment, but I'm strong. I'm, you know, determined. I'm motivated. I have a goal and I have these things where I need to be. So I instantly kind of washed those thoughts away out of my mind and said, oh, no, 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 no. That's not where you're supposed to be going. You know, your focus, my focus, why I initially got into art was never to sell art necessarily, but it was something just like you, something to kind of get my mind off of what tragic things was going on in my life at the time. And I had made a big move. I changed jobs. I made a big move from from New York to Maryland. And when I moved down here, I felt like I needed something to do, even though I was already creating jewelry. But I felt like that really wasn't fulfilling. And it was costing me a lot of bread to kind of recreate, you know, do jewelry because I'm doing sterling silver or whatever. So I was like, you know what? I just want to create. I just want to feel free. I want to see how it goes and see what happens. And as I developed into it, it kind of snowballed into, you know, people wanted to buy things, people, you know, admiring my work, da 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 da, and boom, I'm here. But so I was like, okay, so that's not your goal. That's not, and that leads me to my point. Sometimes as artists, right? You see it all the time. You see artists online, on social media, and they'll want to emulate another artist that they feel is popping or they feel like is really selling or doing all these different things. And a lot of people don't understand what sells versus, you know, like popular art, you know, is basically the eye of the beholder. It's about that particular audience, that particular demographic, and what is meant for that particular artist is not meant for you. You feel what I'm
Definitely.
saying?
Hmm.
Right. Like, so I hope I'm not like rambling on you guys, but that's how I feel. Like, a lot of people need to stay focused on what their path is, what their dreams are, what their initial purpose was when they got into art, and not to be paying attention to, okay, what is this person doing? I mean, some of the top names out there that are in the industry, they're not necessarily the most talented people on the planet, but they have cultivated something that is extremely popular and something that is exciting to a specific demographic. You know what I'm saying? So for each artist, you have to figure out what is your path, what is your demographic, who's your audience, who are you trying to speak to, and what are you trying to say with your art, you know?
That's exactly, yes. Like that's where I want to be. And I feel like when I made the decision to decided to become to sell art, I immediately started trying to figure out, okay, now what do I do? And I bought into a lot of that because I don't know. And you I don't want to be tainted, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't want to base who I am off of what other people are doing. And so I'm trying to take a step back right now and decide what is it that I'm doing because I enjoy doing it and not because I'm feeling this type of pressure to be like someone else or to create like someone else or what's popular. I need to have my own vision and know my own direction about what I want to do with my art.
Exactly. I mean, but a lot of people, especially for the new artists out there, the new creatives, it's easy to get lost in the sauce, so to speak. You get lost in that social media hamster wheel and you start feeling like, damn, you know, oh, I gotta be like this person, like whoever is selling, da 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 da. and I got to start reproducing that. I mean, you see it. Like, people still are, people go bananas over this stuff. I mean, this is real deal, profiteering that goes on out here, and real deal emulating. I mean, I know artists that emulate a whole nother artist, and I'm like, okay, get your own individual style. But to me,
Exactly.
you know, again, I see a whole bunch of artists out there. Instead of you, okay, what I would say is, instead of you, for you newbies out there, or whoever needs to hear this, because I'm sure somebody need to hear it. Instead of you trying to emulate what somebody else is doing, again, what is meant for them is not meant for you. It's not your path. It's not where you need to go. You need to sit down, even if you have to cut off social media. I seen this on a podcast, on somebody else's podcast on YouTube. Even if you have to cut off social media for a week, 2 weeks, whatever you call it, purge. That's what you call it. Purge social media for 2 to 3 weeks. Sit down with your sketchbook and your thoughts and think about, who am I? What is important to me? What do I want to say to the world through my art? You know, sketch some ideas out, put some prompt words up, get a vision board, go explore, look for some inspiration into the world. Look for things that make you happy. You know what I'm saying? Because you can have 25 artists that all paint the same thing, but it's not going to all look the same, because we all have our own way of interpreting that particular vision.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
and you have to get away from, you have to find your own voice and make yourself, that's what they say, like, you gotta be who you are and not who the world tells you you should be, or who you think the world wants you to be. So I'm not with that, looking at what's trending in the morning and start drawing that. I don't. I have developed a routine where first thing in the morning I wake up, I start to draw, because I want to know that I am fresh. That's to keep myself, and so I practice the routine of drawing every day, and to make sure that my ideas are, become more my ideas and are unique to me, so that I can put my signature on it through the things that I do, not anything else. You feel me?
I feel you. I feel you on that, because I'm not, and then I'm the type of person where I'm very competitive anyway, so I'm like, no, no, boo boo. I know what I'm doing over here. I'm going to be doing my thing. I don't care if you got like 25,000 followers. Again, the amount of followers somebody has does not equate to talent, you guys. So you got to think about that. Even if you feel like, oh, a person has 50,000 followers, 80,000, 100,000, whatever, a million followers. They even got a blue check in front of their name, whatever it is. It does not equate necessarily, you know.
Yes, girl, you got the blue
Yeah,
check. You for real authentic there.
you
Certified.
authentic at that point. Even if you got that, because they, again, some people pay for those blue checks. So it's not about that. It's, I know it's a numbers game, and a lot of people are like, out there clout chasing and wanting those likes. Like, you need those likes, okay?
Mm-mm.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if that person has all of those followers, because 9 times out of 10, it's not because they're more talented than you. It's about the marketing, you guys, which is a whole nother conversation that I'm going to get into. But it's all about marketing. It's all about how you present yourself, how you package it, what your pictures look like. It could even have to do with what you look like. You know, um, your age, shit like that. If you're old and you fat and you in the corner, and you in the corner painting, anybody paying attention to your ass. You know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10. Let's just keep it 100. Okay? But
Like, that's another thing too. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's one thing that I didn't realize until later, and that's why I want to bring it up before I forget, is that I'm not a internet really, I'm not a real social media person, you know. So it's always good to get out here in the real world, you know, in your community, so that people in your community begin to recognize who you are. I don't have very many, you know, in online followers like that, but in person, I have lots of people in Oklahoma City have my paintings in their house because I go do
Mm.
shows and I'm out here doing a mural so that people like the social media is not the only place where you can market. You can still market and meet people in real life too, which might be even easier.
Amen. Amen. I believe me, you are preaching to the choir because let me tell you, I realize it's a different game versus online versus in person. Okay? Because in person I can sell the hell out of some paintings, right? Because I meet you, you know, I got the gift of gab and boom, 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 lights, cameras, action, whatever, and you buying my painting, honey, okay? But then online, I gotta work hard. I gotta go, you know, update the social media, look at the analytics, da 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 da, blase blase. And just because somebody's on your page liking your stuff doesn't mean they're gonna buy your stuff, which is a whole nother conversation. Okay,
Hello.
right?
Hello.
Those likes do not always equate to money. Okay, so stop looking at the likes, start looking at cultivating relationships sometime out in your community, because you may get a lot more opportunities and money that way, right?
Exactly. And I'm like you said, I'm very competitive too. And I guess I'm like, all right, trying to compete online, I'm competing with way too many people right on the internet. I'm like, let me compete with the people in my city. And here is I got, you know, a better opportunity because it's not saying there's not any, but it's not the same as being on the internet or on social media.
Exactly. Exactly. I definitely agree. Okay, you guys, so let's segue into our next question, which is, if you could thank one person, who would it be and why? Who is that person?
I would thank my daddy because he's the type of person that um all right, that's a quick story. My dad was in Vietnam and he was on a plane to go over there and they said, who knows how to type? And my daddy didn't know how to type. But my daddy's smart enough to know he knows that the keyboard have the letters on them. So he raised his
Right.
hand. And
Right.
another man raised his hand. He said, they asked the other man, how many words per minute you type? He said 30. Asked my daddy. My daddy said 60 words per minute. So they gave the other man a machine gun and sent my daddy to office.
Ah.
And so that's what he told me that you don't have to be the best, you know, or whatever, but you need to be out. You got to be smart in here too. So
Exactly.
that's one of the
Exactly.
best things he ever gave me was the ability to think quick and to think for myself and not be one of these
Yeah.
worker ants or one of these people that's just I call them they on autopilot, you know, robots.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, having that person in your corner that can give you that's critical advice right there that your dad was giving you. Yeah. So thank you so much for telling us about that. So let's segue into the next question. We almost at the end, you guys. So we only got two more questions, and then we're gonna get to, if you guys have questions. I know it's been a minute. We've been in here chatting it up. It's been a lovely interview, you guys. If you have questions, type it down below in all caps, and we're gonna get to it in just a second, right? Okay, so the next one is, okay, we talked about social media strategy. I think we had like a long drawn out conversation about social media, so we're not even gonna talk about that. Advice for beginners. What advice do you have for beginners, if any?
I just gave it. Get out here
Uh,
and don't just focus on social media, but focus on being active in your community as well.
exactly, exactly. Amen. I definitely agree. You know, get out there, learn as much as you can, get some inspiration.
Oh, okay, yes, and definitely. Like I set goals for myself. Like I'm studying skin color, I'm studying anatomy. Don't, you know, be invested in yourself and your art, you know, and be always working to get better and have goals for yourself. That's one of my advice.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I agree. You should be invested in your, if you're trying to get, like be professional or whatever. I mean, if you're just doing it like as a release or art therapy, then that's fine. Do whatever. But if you're thinking about it like as an art career or art path, you should be studying whatever genre you're going into when it comes to art. And no matter where you go in art, most artists, whether they're concept artists, illustrator, whatever they all, know somewhat of the fundamentals like drawing and anatomy, color theory, stuff like that. So that's what I would suggest some of you guys brush up on if you happen to be a young creative or creative period and you're getting into the realm. Just brush up on your color theory. I mean, my whole life changed when I learned how to do color theory. So brush up on that and anatomy and keep creating every single day as much as you can, as much as your life will allow you to do, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so we're at the end, you guys. Where can we find you? Tell us about your social media. Like, where can we purchase things, stuff like that? What do you have for sales?
All right, so right now, you can find me on Facebook or Instagram at Creative Illusion One, and it's all together and number one. And I'm more active on Instagram, which also has the link to my shop. And the shop is just also right now I'm working on some Christmas cards. So I have my Christmas
Yay!
card
I
collection
love
going
Christmas.
on. Yeah, I'm getting ready for that. And so that's what I'm working on currently. You can check me out on Instagram or Facebook, and the link is in the bio.
Okay, you guys, that was so lovely. That went. I feel like that went so quick. It was just flowing, girl, flowing, flowing, flowing. Okay, so I'm gonna tap on this, you guys, and see what you got. Oh wait, let me turn that all the way down.
Yes, yes.
So we don't get no feedback. Okay, so but say our representation is so much more better than it was when I was a kid. Okay,
Hmm.
so I don't see any really big questions. Nobody really put anything captain. A lot of people were just in the comments, kind of chatting it up. Again, we have like a few people still watching. If you have any questions for our artists, please put it down because we're about to log off, you guys. It was such a beautiful interview. Thank
Come
you
on, guys,
so
ask me a
so.
question. Just one.
I I know, right?
Yeah.
Put some questions down like, good God.
Yeah. Like, how long your hair been natural?
I know, right? Like, where's Belinda? I put Belinda on today, you guys. Okay, Belinda's in the head
Uh,
today. Okay, so
yes, and where did you find your bow?
I know that's so cute. I love that. I love that. You know what? I be loving your pictures. You do a lot of mermaid like professional shots too. You
That's
also
what
gotta
I've been
tell.
doing. That's what I've been doing. The mermaids are actually the photography, and that's just part of my creativity. I love my birthday's coming up, October 27th.
Yes.
I've always loved Halloween because I got to wear my costume early on my birthday. Yeah, so
Yes.
I just love dressing up, and that's kind of like where this boat came from. I was like, oh, this is outrageous.
Well, yeah, I love it. I'm with it. I'm loving it. Um, so I'm gonna just read like a quick comment. What's popping to everybody in the comments? Diane, Cheryl, Jennifer, Nikki, Nicole Marie Gibson. We got Kayla. She was one of our very first artist interview. What's popping? And then we have Cheryl. She just said that it is more representation of us. The representation of us in art is getting much better since she was a kid.
Hmm.
So that's one of the things she was saying. But that's true. That's very true. The representation of us. I mean, we've come a long, long way. Now with so many opportunities for African American artists, urban artists, off what they would call, what the mainstream would call off-brand artists. Okay, so it's so many opportunities for us, so many diverse ways for us to bring in income and to do our thing. And yeah, that's the end of our interview, you guys. Yay!
Well,
Oh my
thank you for
god.
having me, Danielle B. It's been my
Yeah.
pleasure. Yes, and
Yes.
thanks to everyone else who tuned in.
Say it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. You know,
No, kind of, but
yeah.
not that bad.
But anyway, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much, Maya, for coming on. I really appreciate it. It has been an absolute godsend. I really enjoyed today's interview. And for you guys, if you happen to be on YouTube, you happen to be on a replay, put it down below. Give me a thumbs up and don't forget to save it to your playlist. Put it in the back while you're creating your next beautiful creation. Don't forget to join the group on Facebook at Creative Girl of Color. And I love you
Oh,
guys.
let me say
Uh,
I'm on YouTube
uh,
as well, but
oh,
um
yeah.
yes,
You
it's
didn't
still
give me
Creative
that.
Illusion One. I forgot until you said it because I do mostly my travels. I do more of my international travels on YouTube, but I also put
Right.
my art on there too. So yeah, check her
Yes.
out, check me out, check us out.
Well, and you'll put it in the comments after the live is over anyway. Type it into the comments below.
Okay, no problem.
All right, babe. Well, all right, everybody. I'll catch you guys on the next one next week, 7 p.m. It's going down. Another artist interview. Peace. I love you guys so much, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.